When Jesus was born, an angel radiant with the glory of God visited certain shepherds who were watching over the sacrificial lambs in the fields surrounding the city of Bethlehem. These humble shepherds were eyewitnesses of a supernatural act. God the Father manifested his power in the skies over them. It was the fulfillment of the prophecy in Micah 5 verse 2. As it is written in Luke 2 verse 8. And there were shepherds in the same region who kept vigils and kept 3 watches of the night over their flock of sheep. These shepherds guarded kosher lambs for temple sacrifice. They made sure that nothing happened to the sacrificial lambs. They were not ordinary shepherds, but rather they meditated and praised God throughout the 3 watches of the night. God chose them to serve as true witnesses before the Jews of the birth of the future King of Israel. These shepherds were chosen by the eternal God to receive the good and wonderful news of the birth of our Lord Jesus. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob sent the angel to make the announcement to certain Jewish shepherds. Because these Jews knew of the prophecy in the Torah, in Micah 5 verse 2, the fulfillment of the coming King and Messiah, who Israel had been waiting for hundreds of years. It is very likely that these shepherds were affiliated with the temple in Jerusalem. However, the Father and Creator of everything that exists also chose to announce the birth of the King to others who were not Jews. Our God Eternal chose in His wisdom to announce the birth of Jesus to certain wise men in a faraway kingdom. They were Gentiles. They were not Torah-obeying Jews. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob chose certain Gentiles from Persia, disciples of the prophet Daniel, to go and pay homage to the child Jesus and worship him, prostrating themselves face down to the ground. Because it is written in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, they were wise men from Persia who saw and understood the prophetic significance of the star in the east. They understood that this celestial event marked the birth of the King of Israel, Jesus. They were taught centuries before by Daniel, the prophet of God at Babylon's Nebuchadnezzar court. Seeing the star in the eastern sky over Persia, they formed a caravan and set out for Jerusalem. These wise men from the east were accompanied by a formidable caravan, prepared for a journey that could have taken more than a year to reach Jerusalem. A huge caravan was needed, with food, animals, and birds, to feed an army made up of hundreds of people, including a royal guard from the kingdom of Persia. The king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, centuries before the birth of Jesus, had placed the prophet Daniel in charge of a caste of wise men. They were experts in astronomy, religion, and science. Wise men in charge of administration and decision-making in the kingdom. The Magi were men of great renown throughout the Middle East. When the caravan leading the Magi arrived in the city of Jerusalem, King Herod already knew their reputation. He knew that they were people of great prestige, power, and influence. The news that the King of Jerusalem had been born disturbed him greatly. Because it is written in Matthew 2 verse 3, and it reads like this: The king was very worried when this reached his ears, and the same thing happened to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem. When the wise men left Herod's palace, a change occurred in the sign that they were following in the sky, because now it was not the movement of a natural star, but it was the Shekinah of God, a supernatural light that was ahead of them. And it went ahead of them, passing over the house of Mary and Joseph in Bethlehem. When the wise men from the east arrived in the city of Bethlehem, Jesus was almost 2 years old, because it is written in Matthew 2, verse 11. And it reads like this: And entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. To fall down is the action of putting one's face on the ground before a higher entity. These Gentiles, these wise men from Babylon, were the first to fall before Jesus and worship him. They were not the wise men of the temple in Jerusalem, nor were they the scribes. It was not the high priest of the temple, nor the members of the Sanhedrin, nor the priests of the temple, nor the scribes, nor the Pharisees, nor the Sadducees. No one in Jerusalem went to worship the King and Lord of Israel. These Gentiles who came from the east, following a sign in the sky, were truly wise in the fear of God. They fully believed in Daniel's prophecies for centuries, waiting for the sign and its fulfillment. For this reason, the 2,000-year story of the three wise men remains written in the Bible. That's why we remember the three kings with joy. They fell on their faces to the ground and worshiped our Lord Jesus. They were the first to pay homage to King Jesus. Then they presented the ritual gifts before the presence of a king. They brought him gold, symbolizing his royalty, his right to the throne. They brought him frankincense, symbolizing the anointed oil applied to both the king and the priest of the temple. They brought him myrrh, symbolizing his power over death, his healing power, his resurrection. This is the story that we remember with joy in this time of celebration of the Three of Kings Day, that Jesus was born King and is worthy of worship and honor. Blessed be the name of our Lord Jesus. Soon our Lord Jesus will return triumphant in the clouds. Let us remember with joy on the next Three Kings Day the story of the three wise men. Of all the Christmas holidays, this is the most relevant for the family of believers in Jesus. Happy King's Day 2025 wishes you your website, rootoftheolive3.com. Our biblical studies are free and downloadable in the following internet pages: therootoftheolivetree.com, radioennuevopacto.com. May the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob bless you abundantly. Shalom Aleichem.